this customer has a 2015, 2016 Cadillac Escalade, and it's in for rescue. So he's got 4 amplifiers in his car. He's got a JL mono for the center console sub. He's also got another JL sub box with 3 TW13 TW5s. Another amp somewhere in here. I gotta find it. He's got these JBL 4 channels, 2 of them, and the system is ran through an LC6 in here. So the unique problem with this particular car is that after testing everything in this car, we found that the center still ran off the factory amplifier. The mid-ranges in the door ran off the factory amplifier, and everything else is tied in. So we're going to do a couple things. We're going to swap out everything in this car. Well, not swap out, but add a few things and change a few things. So we're going to add a 8P4GM, which should get rid of that LC6. We're going to do an 8-channel DSP amplifier. We're going to change out one of the other amplifiers, the monoblock that's in the car somewhere. And we're going to upgrade the speakers and do a 3-way front, and the whole car is reactive. So we're going to add a mid-range in the center, a middler, an Audison AP2 MW for the center. But let me get this car gutted and we'll look and see how this thing's all set up. Like I said, we got some wires in here. Let's get this out of the way. So we're gonna get all this stuff gutted, get some regular wire in here, black and red, not all this, get all this cheap stuff out, and then we're gonna see how this thing's set up, but we gotta take it all apart. So yeah, not fun, but we'll get it all apart and figure it out. No big deal. Stay tuned.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feels so nice. We time, you I know how to make me feel right. I can't help how this sweet talk. I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be.
So yeah, as you can see, I guess they ran out of wire that was the same color. They ran a watt out all the way back here. They used their ground here off the bolt, and then they used different wire colors, which was weird. And it's cheap wire. Oh, actually it's elite wire. This is actually aluminum wire. And this looks like OFC right there. That's good. And then all the wires are in here with the cheap wire. And then everything goes in here, but you can see they drilled a hole, and then I guess they felt that wasn't a good ground, so they kind of left the way it was. What a mess. Oh well, we'll pull the seats out and go from there. So as you can see, that's the wiring. The LC6 is mounted by 2 screws. And then we got wiring underneath there. Let's pull that off, and then everything's black. So that's gonna be hard to figure out. The RCAs are just stuck up there. It's front main 2-channel and 3-channel. And then the power wires, as you can see, are black too. So ground and power, and remote on and remote out. Jeez Louise. Let me get this apart. This is a fun one, especially when you look at all that wiring that was done. So I'm gonna cut all that out and then see where we're at and then start from scratch, because then we gotta identify everything. Wow. So we pulled all that wire out. This car had 2 base knobs, one for the sub up front and one for the sub in the back. We also pulled every wire out that wasn't connected to something. We still got to go here and take this wire out because they got some tweeters in the back. So it has a jail stealth box in the front, or some kind of box in front. I don't even know what that is. It's got the 13s, and as you can see, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires. 6 wires. The car has a 3-way front. That's 6 alone. A center, 7. Tweeter and mid rear, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then you had rear fillers. So if you're going to do a car like this, hopefully there's crossovers in door, but if you do a car like this in the future, you got to plan on the channels you're going to use, how you're going to do it, how you're going to wire it. In this case, they ran a 4-gauge for a jail amp that was under the seat, which had its own 4-gauge. Then they want a 1-aught from the passenger side, which is terminated here, as you can see. And that was running another amp. Well, actually, the jail amp on the seat was running the subs in the back, so that had its own power, which was good. Then the other amp that's back here, which was a JX or NEXD, running the up front sub. And then it had 2 4-channels and an LC6. There's no way that this car could have sounded good no matter what we've done. So that's why I told the customer it's in his best interest to change a whole bunch of stuff. So we're going to continue to take apart this side panel here and get the wire figured out, because we're probably going to have to run another 1-aught cable back here. We're going to have distribution because there's going to be a total of 4 amplifiers. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 amplifiers. Yes, 5 amplifiers. So we're gonna have the going to have this one's coming out, so it's going to have the Audison amp. It's going to have the two JBLs. It's going to have the JL right there, and then we're going to have this big dog in here, 1500. So you want to go boom, so it's going to go boom. It's going to sound pretty good. It's got amazing speakers. We just got to go through the doors and see how those are set up. Those are, I mean, just little stuff. So center channel's getting changed. Everything's getting changed out. Like I said, I don't know why the car has tweeters in the back, but we'll find out all the magic when we're done. Stay tuned. I'm gonna get this other side panel apart and work from there. But yeah, this car is fun. Let's see. So one thing you're doing when you're running wire through a firewall, I'm willing to bet that this has no grounding. So let's pull this wire through. We see a hole, but there's nothing to protect that wire except for this sheathing, which can and possibly work, but the reality is that's not a good way to do the wiring. You want to protect it as much as you can. So we're going to cut it out, cut this whole section out, the foam area, and then put a grommet in there for the customer. And we're going to also run another wire through there too, to another section too. So keep running them mistakes. So we're still working on this truck. As you can see, the truck's still here. And we were going to try to put the Hertz. First, we were going to try the Hertz Milli Legend in the dash. And then I did some measurements, and I said, well, maybe I can switch a Milli Pro, which he's got Pro speakers already. So I thought maybe I could put a Pro in the dash, and it's not deep enough. Luckily, the customer had already purchased some JBL 2-inch mid-range, which looked pretty promising, which is it's almost a middler, but it's a mid-range, but it's almost the same diameter. We just got to change the crossover point. So from here to here, it's going to be slightly different, but I think it's going to work really well. And if you look at the dash, the way I put it in, we use some CRT or RTV to secure them so that they will come out. And I didn't want to make any major, but I put the mid-range in there, CRT to hold it in place. His front windshield is tinted, so I don't want to scratch it. So I can't really put a mega screw in there, so that's why it's RTV, but it's pretty solid. Give it a couple of days, and it'll still come out when we're all done. But that's done. We also did a AP2 in the center channel. We did one over there. That was a little bit, but I did a baffle on it. So a 2-inch middler in the dash. Should turn out pretty nice. We also ran the wire for the driver's side, passenger side door already through the door itself. So that's for the tweeter. So we're going to do active, because if you buy this car, the factory 6x9, and this guy had an aftermarket one in here, and the tweeter are actually attached together on the same channel, and the mid has its own, but I ran my own wire for the mid. So we ran wire in the door to run the tweeter. You know, it's going to go up there. We already changed the tweeter in the past for them. So now we got left is to pull off this door panel, and since it's got a tweeter here in the mid there, we're going to run wires in, and we're going to put the crossovers in and run that passive. But it should look not that bad when we're done. So, you know, a couple more days on it, and you know, we should have something going on when it's all said and done. So there's a lot of things going on in the shop, so we got to start to hustle, hopefully get this all grinded out. So we'll do some speakers, get the speakers put in. I'll show you that when we're done. And then we're also we'll put the dash panel back on. We're using that pack interface that's already installed. We had to pull the entire radio out to do that, because it plugs into the controller, which is behind the actual display of the radio. So when you're doing one of these, you definitely gotta be conscious of what you're doing when it comes down to it. So onto the rear speakers, put the dash panel back on, put the A-pillars back on, and finish wiring up that, and then run the door wires in. And then we can start working on the back half and put the back car back together. So just little baby steps. So we got a lot of things still to do. It's about 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 when it's all said and done, of everything after tuning. So wish me luck. So we got some wiring done. We ran 2 separate wires in here, so we can run the crossovers inside the car versus in the door. So we got a tweeter wire here. We got the door baffles already ready to go for this car. Then we got The front's done. So the tweeter is hardwired in, and we're running everything active. Everything was ran to the factory grommet, so you can't really see it. So the wiring's there. We just got to put this door panel back on, and this door will be done. We've already done the driver's door back over there. It's almost done as far as putting the door panel back on. And then all we have left on this side is the rear door, and it's not that complicated. It's just got a screw that holds the panel in. It's got like 3 or 4 screws. So the tweeter is going to be mounted front on this panel here. So if you look at it, we're going to run the wire in there. That's obviously the bottom. And this panel comes off, it just snaps off. So when it's all said and done, the tweeter will be behind the panel itself, and I'll show you that. So I'm going to reorientate the tweeter once we're done. But getting there, it's a lot of work. Different changes on this car. A lot of work to get done. Just stay tuned for the next segment. Just keep working. So we wrapped up this Cadillac Escalade. We built the custom fuse holder here. So he's got a breaker for the system and a breaker for the sub amps. And we went to, he has the 1500 JL running the 312W TW3s, and then he's got a monoblock, I want to say 500 running the under seat sub. This system really comprised of a 3-way. 6.5s in the door, the Otis and Milli Pros. We got the JBL 3.5s, which really sound good. We got the Milli Pro tweeter in the dash on the door panel there. Then we also have the Otis center channel, because he wanted to keep the center channel. And the way the Amp Pro works is it has a center output, which is really nice. Then we put the Otis and Milli Pros back here in the door, factory locations, which you saw a video of. We have the Prima amp, I should say the Force amp, underneath the passenger rear seat. And then this is what we did. We wound up 86 in all the JBL amplifiers, not because they weren't good, just because we needed the room. So we condensed everything down to a Sound Digital 4-channel. The way this is ran is I should say the whole system's ran is the Forces runs the front speakers, the mid basses are bridged, so it is an 8-channel. Then this one is running the rear speakers with a passive crossovers on Hertz. We took one channel, we ran it to the center channel, and we took the rear, the other channel, which would be the 4-channel, we ran it to the rear. We ran those in series and ran a mono, so it just adds a little real feel. In his case, he likes it up pretty loud, so it gave him a lot more mid-range coming out of the back, which he likes. Then we have these 2 amplifiers here. We got the monoblock running the front kick mount of the stealth box, and then we got the big dog running the big dogs. This freaking car is loud and it humps, and I think the customer really enjoys it, and it's got a lot of bass, more than I would want, but you can't go wrong. So nice turnout, nice system, came out the way I think he planned it, the way we wanted it. And stay tuned for the next video. Peace.